For young people and those moving to New York for the first time, it's easy to feel lonely and lost in an endless sea of faces. And for those who were in their teens and 20s when the COVID pandemic hit, building community became harder than ever as they lost out on years of in-person connection during shutdowns. Well, there are two groups of young women here in New York City working to make up for lost time. Meet Ellie McCoy and Isabella Harrison, friends and founders of the Village Ferry Book Club.
We had talked about having our friends together in the park in the summer and finding a way to socialize more. So we had a group of like 5 friends come together for crafts and some good book conversations. And then since then, we made some TikToks about the group, and it's really expanded from there into more of like a social club, I would say.
From just 5 people, the group has grown enormously, hosting monthly events with ever-expanding attendance, thanks in no small part to social media. The group's Instagram and TikTok now boast thousands of followers.
I think social media is instrumental in connecting people, but I think you have to go a step further and actually meet up in real life. It's totally different being in a room with someone and being able to actually connect with them.
Connecting in person feels more important than ever, especially to a generation whose youth was marked by lockdowns and social distancing.
I think, yeah, of course it impacted our ability to make friends. That hit when we were both in college and lasted, on and off for the entirety of college until we graduated. So I think it absolutely took away time in our lives where a lot of people do make really lifelong great friends. I think at this age, female friendships are so important because it's an age where so much is turbulent and uncertain in your life, and having a support group that knows exactly what you're going through and is going through similar things, it's irreplaceable. You need that support, and it can be hard to find that in a big city like New York.
For Gen Z, making like-minded friends and building community is not just a practice in networking, but is part of a broader attempt to focus on self-care. For Alexis Mendias and Jacqueline Padilla, that was where they drew the inspiration to form City Señoras, a self-described self-care community of young women looking to meet other young Latinas who are entering their señora era. It's a space where English, Spanish, and Spanglish can be heard used in equal measure.
Jackie and I are both new to the city, and this came when we were both looking for a community at the same time, and we were like, let's just start a club ourselves and connect with other people who are also in their señora era.
For many young people, building community now means focusing on work-life balance and making sure to center friendships and connections, not just profession.
The purpose of City Señoras too is to slow down and do self-care community events. Being in New York, everyone's like, where do you do? Where do you work? And it's also kind of like a sanctuary away from that.
It's more of just finding a community where you can slow down with, be comfortable with yourself. If you want to speak Spanglish, you can, and just kind of take yourself out of the workplace a little bit as well too.
What started as 2 roommates looking to deepen community connections has blossomed into an active social group organizing events 3 times a month with hundreds of attendees, like this Cafecito and Walk, which drew attendees from Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens, even New Jersey, and Connecticut. Most found out about the group from either TikTok or Instagram, where the organization now has several thousand followers.
I got an ad, and then I followed the page, and then I saw they were doing a bunch of random activities, and I kind of didn't have anything to do on a Sunday afternoon, so I was like, let's just go for a walk in Central Park with a bunch of strangers, and hopefully it goes okay.
I heard about it through TikTok, actually. I saw they had a City Señoras, Cafecito and Walk. So I thought it'd be some really fun way to connect with fellow Latinas. A community like this is really important to remind ourselves that while we're being successful in our career as women, first gen and all that, we're also still keeping in mind our own mental health and our own wellness.
I feel the pandemic had something to do with how this group kind of came about. I feel like the pandemic forced a lot of people to slow down and prioritize their self-care. Creating a space for the community to come together was really great, and that's why we've had such a good turnout.
For more information on both groups and their upcoming events, visit NBCNewYork.com.